Good evening, Friscoistan. What are you guys doing here? Inviting the enemy to eat at the table with you, and they steal all your food. Your children will grow up without a place to be in because every single one of their jobs, and you saw the children that were brought up on this stage, not one of them is a heritage American. Not one of them was a Texan. Your replacement is here, Americans, and it is coming faster and faster. The Hindus and the Muslims are teaming up to take over Texas. This is not Muslims versus Hindus here. They are here to eradicate the Christians. They are here to drive us out of our homelands. You have to understand, these people do not want to assimilate. These people have not come here to become Americans. They have come here to drag their third world culture over to our country. If Jainism, if Hinduism is so great, why are their countries shitholes? They are bringing this ideology here to turn the third world is not a place. It is a people. It is an ideology. It is a way of life. It is a culture. And when they bring their people, their way of life, their ideology, and their culture over to America, do you think it's going to remain American? Have you ever looked across the plains of Texas and said, I need 5 million Jeets here right now to shit in the street? No one ever has. No one has ever looked across and said, the football fields, the games, all of the amazing cowboy. I have a First Amendment right, and I can curse if I want to. I can talk if I want to. No one has ever looked across the plains of Texas and the football games and all the amazing cowboy culture and the raw American spirit here and said, let's replace this with Muslims. Let's replace this with Hindus. Texas should remain for Texans. Have you lost your mind selling your children's future? Did you see the Boys and Girls Club of America standing on this stage? Is it even recognizable to what you would have seen the Boy Scouts 15 or 20 years ago? It is a replacement. It is not right. Just because it's happening to white people does not make it okay. You guys are complicit. This is the jellyfish generation. Half boomer, half Gen X. You don't care about my children's children. You are selling out this country to people who do not want to live near you. They want to build their own separate, segregated zones where they practice their religion, their food, their way of dress, their language. They don't care about white culture. They don't care about American culture. They don't like you. They will replace you. Their culture in both Muslim and Hindu is pedophilia. And I have the child marriage in Mensur Marudi, which is one of their religious texts. It suggests a 30-year-old man marry a 12-year-old woman, or a 24-year-old man is perfect for an 8-year-old girl. What the fuck is wrong with you inviting these people into our country? This is a... Good evening, Friscoistan. What are you guys doing?
All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule on T12. All right, I'm the brother Iraq from GMS Dallas, and I'll entitle this lesson, Civil War is on the Brink here in America. All right, Civil War is on the brink here in America. And as you can see in this video, all right, basically the divide that you have between, Egyptian and Egyptian, all right, aka between American citizens, the divide is bigger than ever. All right, and in regards to this particular issue, all right, basically it's dealing with, immigration. You know what I mean? Or in other words, people of other nations, all right, Islamic peoples, Indian peoples, Asian peoples coming from other parts of the earth over here to America, all right, which is totally a result of Esau's doing in the first place. All right. All these heathen coming over here to America is a result of Esau's very own, decrees and policies. All right. And the whole stigma of America being a melting pot, right? But guess what? It's all good. It's all good when, America is making all this money. All right. America is invading all the other places on the planet Earth. All right. America is, dominating and attacking, infiltrating other nations, right? Blowing up little girls' schools. right? All that's cool, all that's fine and dandy. Weren't no niggas, weren't no American soldiers on the stand at city council meetings, all right, when America was waging war on the other nations of the planet Earth for no legitimate reason outside of stealing their resources. Okay? But now that Esau is getting the taste, all right, of what it's of what it's like, basically to be made small, to be made, you know, minority, so to speak, right? Even though Esau is the minority. All right, Esau is the minority. His birth rates are low. All right, everybody's starting to see that he's the problem on the planet Earth. All right, and what we're seeing, all right, basically is Esau throw a damn temper tantrum. All right, and basically that's going to result in him coming down with great wrath. All right, Esau is being backed into a corner through the spirit of prophecy. All right, so I just want to get a couple precepts, all right, on this, because as you can see, just reading the body language of this guy in the video, all right, that this is a token and this is a sign that a lot of these Edomites, right, they're pissed off. All right, they're pissed off. They got black fatigue. They got heathen fatigue. They're tired of hearing about, you know, he's tired of being called an Edomite. He's tired, man, and he's getting ready to lash out. And a lot of you 2/3 Israelites, you know, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that refused to repent and that made mockery of this ministry, a lot of y'all, most of y'all are going to catch the brunt of Esau's wrath. All right? So let's get a couple precepts real quick. I'm going to start here in Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 19. It says, the burden of Egypt. Okay? It says, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. All right, and that swift cloud is ultimately talking about the chariot of the Lord, the chariots of the Lord, the fathership. All right, which is a so-called UFO. All right, so you can understand. All right, and they tell you in these movies, they show you, like in movies like Independence Day, all right, Arrival, amongst other movies, they've tried to basically psychologically, they try to deceive people into believing that there are aliens, all right, in outer space, and there's aliens in the heavens, when really, when you read the Bible, all right, it tells you that the Lord is in the heavens. The angels are in the heavens. Okay, even in Psalms 105, it talks about how the Lord rideth upon the wings of the wind. Okay, in Isaiah 66, I want to say, it says, all right, the heavens are the Lord's. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. I don't want to butcher that. All right, and then we'll get back on it. This is Isaiah 66. Just proving, all right, that that the Lord, Yahushua, and the angels, all right, are all throughout the scriptures, and they dwell in the heavens. This is Isaiah 66 and 1. It says, thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, the earth is my footstool. Okay, the heaven is the throne of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. That's where he resides, and that's where he's going to be coming from to deliver the elect from the four corners of the planet Earth. Okay, now let's finish this out in Isaiah 19. This is Isaiah 19 and verse 2. It says, and I will set Egyptian against Egyptian. Right? So in this scene in the video, you have basically, I want to say, I don't know if it was a city hall meeting. I don't know exactly what the setting was. All right, but it was basically a public setting. All right, where citizens, you know, gather to basically, you know, discuss particular, you know, topics and things of that nature. All right, and basically what you have here in Texas, along with other states, is a large influx of, you know, Ishmaelites, so-called, you know, Islamic people, Arabs. All right, but you also have a very big influx of Elamites, so-called East Indians. All right, And most of these heathen are coming over here because they are bought in. They believe in the NWO. All right, you have a lot of East Indians and a lot of Arabs that are highly involved. All right, in tech. All right, in software engineering. All right, in these various fields. All right, that are linked to, you know, the coming digital economy. All right, now most of them, you know, are going to take a L just like everybody else. All right, but like it says in Psalms 83, all the other nations are bought in to Esau's NWO in one way or another. All right, now you have the masses of the people. All right, that you know oppose it right now. But when things get difficult and things get hard, all right, and Esau whips out, all right, this technology and the convenience that's associated with it and the cute tricks that it could do, all right, most people are going to willingly and happily take the MOTB. All right, and that's why a lot of these heathen are coming over here, because they're down. They're with it. They're with it. All right. But on the right-hand side, and when I say right-hand side, I mean politically, you know, when you deal with the right-wing Republicans, all right, the so-called Christian, you know, Republican sect, if you will. All right. Okay, they're in strong opposition against, all right, what's getting ready to go down. All right, and really the spirit is on them to oppose it so that this civil war can play out. All right, because civil war is documented in the scriptures. All right, let's read Isaiah 19:2. All right, again, it says, "And I will set Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." All right, so that's talking about a civil war. That's talking about infighting within the borders of America. All right, and like the scriptures say in Ecclesiastes 1:9, the thing that have been is that which shall be. When you go into the history of America, America was founded on revolution. All right, America was founded on the American Revolution from, you know, England, Great Britain. Okay, that's how America was founded, on sedition. All right, and the same thing is getting ready to happen again. All right, you had the Civil War that happened, you know, in the 18th, 19th century, right, or Abraham Lincoln, you know, around that time period, right. So Civil War has happened before, and it's getting ready to happen again. But this time, when it happens, all right, it's going to lead to the coming of Yahushua. All right, the scriptures talk about how the Lord is a man of war. All right, and one of the oldest plays in the book is divide and conquer. All right, divide and conquer is how Esau has went around the planet Earth conquering nations. All right, basically stirring up, you know, revolutions and things of that nature within nations, financing, you know, supplying arms, okay, buying discontent, all right, amongst the populace. That's a playbook that Esau has used, all right, to maintain his dominance on the earth. But guess what? That very strategy is getting ready to be used against you. Okay, let's get another one. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 51, or Jeremiah 51 and verse 1. Excuse me. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind." And that destroying wind is ultimately going into the nuclear destruction. All right, because you're going to have the actual ICBMs impacting, right, hitting, exploding. All right, but you also have the fallout. You have the nuclear fallout. You have the change in weather and atmosphere. All right, the water will be affected, right? Everything will be affected when these nukes hit, and it's going to cause a fallout, a wind. All right, and that's going to do a lot of damage as well. Right? So let's get this in verse 2. Jeremiah 51:2, it says, "And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about." All right, and when you get that word fanners in the blue letter, right, you go into the Hebrew. When you get that word fanners, all right, it goes into foreigners. Okay, goes into foreigners. All right, and you already have a large number of so-called military-age males of other nations. They're already here. They've been here. Okay, so there's a major civil war, all right, that's on the brink here in America. Okay, and if you're a so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, you're supposed to be repenting, and as it says in Micah 2:10, you're supposed to arise ye and depart. You're supposed to have separated yourself from all this. All right, because people are clicking up, man. People are clicking up. All right, and you're going to need a covering. You're going to need the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in order to maneuver these times. All right, because like the scriptures say, the love of many is waxing cold. All right, the love of many is waxing cold. All right, so it's very important, you know, that you repent. Okay, I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna finish it out. All right, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, and I'm gonna read verse 14 and 15 and 16. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and sword in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And that's the spirit that was on that dude on the stand in the video. All right, he had his vesture on. He had his military vesture on, and he was telling them, you know, I can say whatever the hell I want. You know, he was openly defying, you know, a public council, which technically is his First Amendment right. All right, but guess what? We don't got no rights. We don't got no amendments. That's why the whole MO of the Great Reset is you will own nothing and you will be happy. Right? So really, it's already understood by these corporations, by these banks, by these major institutions. We don't got no damn rights. You don't got rights. All right? And Esau is getting ready to find that out. All right? That really, you played yourself. Okay? You played yourself. All right? And ultimately, a change of rulership is what needs to happen here in America. A change of rulership with the house of David and the elect of the nation of Israel being restored back to their proper order. You know, as basically, you know, kings and priests on the planet Earth. All right? So, I just wanted to make a quick point on that. Lord's willing, this lesson was edifying. With that, I'm going to say shalom.